What's going on, everybody? My name's Chris. Welcome to Bourbinsane. We're back today and we are going to be talking about one of my personal favorite bourbons, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I love Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I've had several bottles throughout my journey through bourbon, and it's one of my favorites. One of my go-to pours. Just everything about Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is kind of made for me. This is a Heaven Hill product. Now, I'm sure all of you have heard of the normal Elijah Craig small batch. This is actually the same whiskey. Difference being, this is a 12-year age statement, which the normal Elijah Craigs actually used to have, but not anymore. Now it's just on the barrel proof bottles. So 12-year age stated, and this is being barrel proof, bottled at the proof that it actually came out of the barrel at. So very cool, no water added. Kind of gives you all those great barrel proof flavors, and we'll talk about that. But mash bill on this bottle is actually 75% corn, 13% rye, and 12% barley. So a high corn mash bill, but we'll see if we pick up any of the other notes as well. The batch we're going to be reviewing today is A119. So this is the first release of 2019. 3 times a year, Heaven Hill puts out batches of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. So an A, B, and C batch. And this is the first release in 2019, the A batch. So Michigan just got this a few weeks ago. The B batch is now starting to get distributed throughout the country. I've seen it popping up places, but in Michigan, we still don't have it, and of course the A batch is here now, so we're just getting to this. But I am a personal big fan of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, and I can't wait to get into this one. So this bottle is 135.2%, so 67.6% ABV. I mean, that's a scorcher. This is probably the highest bottle I have in my bar right now. Which is just ridiculous. So I did bring some water, so we could add some water to it, see how it changes or if it opens up. I have let this open up in the glass for about 15 minutes, because you pretty much need to at this high proof, otherwise you're just going to get all alcohol vapor. So let's start with color on this. Just a gorgeous, dark, mahogany looking color. I mean, you can see in the bottle itself how dark it is, and it's really translating on the glass. It's sticking to the glass very nice as well. This is non-chill filtered, which all the Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs are. So let's go into the nose. That burns the nostrils for sure. But it is unmistakably an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof batch. Burnt caramel, charred toasted oak, vanilla sweetness with that creme brulee, like, burnt brown sugar, burnt vanilla, burnt caramel. That's all in this. I mean, the alcohol burn is there, but I think letting it open up for about 10-15 minutes really helped. I'm just getting a lot more of the sweet notes coming through. Sweet candied oak is coming through. I mean, the oak is definitely present. A lot of batches of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, you'll get a lot of oak. Me personally, I tend to find, depending on the release, I'll get one batch will be very heavily oaked and not as much sweetness. Next batch will be a lot more sweetness, and then not as much of that oak comes through. And then usually the third release is kind of a nice mesh and balance of both. And for me personally, I think the C batches of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is where the sweet spot is, at least in the last 2 years. The C917 and the C918. They've been my personal favorites. Not that there's anything wrong with the A batch or B batch. They're great whiskeys as well. It's just seems to have a better balance in the C batches for some reason. It just smells incredible. What a great nose. So bold and rich on the nose. All the classic bourbon flavors. Toasted nut as well, like a toasted almond. Which, I'll get the nuttiness in Heaven Hill products in general anyway, so it's just more pronounced in the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Fabulous. I can't wait to get into this anymore. Let's go into it, guys. Cheers. Woo! That will punch you in the teeth. But immediately when it hit my tongue, it was nothing but creme brulee like I just described. I mean, burnt brown sugar, burnt vanilla, like a vanilla ice cream. The mouth coating is great. Of course, the finish is still going. I'm surprised my eyes aren't watering yet. But that's what almost 136% will do to you, or 136 proof will do to you. Smells great. Just the nose just smells like a rick house. You know, that you walk into a rick house, if you've ever been to a Kentucky distillery, you walk in, you smell those barrels that angels share. That's just what this nose smells like. Incredible sweetness up front. The caramel, the vanilla, the balance of sweetness. The middle of the tongue, you're getting the spice notes. Almost like a little bit of a peppery cinnamon. I think it's more the barrel spice though. Middle of the palate, you're getting all that barrel spice. The back end, it's really not drying me out too much. And usually that's where, especially on some high proof stuff, it can really dry me out is the back of the palate. I'm not really getting that. It's definitely leaving my mouth salivating. Wanting to take another sip of this, and I'm going to do it. It's definitely drinking way smoother than 67.6%. I mean, 125 maybe is what I would guess. So 10 points lower in proof is what I would guess this would drink at. It's actually pretty well balanced. I watched a couple reviews of this, and a lot of people kind of had that initial impression that I had was usually one batch is more oaked, one's more sweet, vice versa. And this actually, to me, at least so far, you should say I've had a couple pours out of this now. It's pretty well balanced. I'm getting nice sweetness on the front and then nice oak on the back, but neither one is off-putting too much. It's not overly sweet, it's not overly oaked. I still do not like this batch as much as the C batch from C917 was my favorite batch of the last 3 years, but C918 as well was fantastic, just so well balanced. This still does tend to lean a little bit towards the oaky side for me, especially the further I drink down the glass. The third sip there was more oak than the first two, so and now, honestly, the drying oak is starting to set in a little bit. It is starting to dry me out a little bit, which, again, being almost 68% alcohol, it's probably inevitable. It's going to dry you out some. But I think the 12 years with that oak is starting to dry the back of the palate out, which I didn't experience in the C918 or the 917. So that's why I say those batches were just so well balanced. All right, let's add a couple drops of water to this and just see if it changes or opens up the flavor at all. I'm going to go ahead and add 3 drops. Usually that's enough to really change flavor a little bit. Give this a nice swirl. And let's go back into the nose. So on the nose, I would say more of the oak is actually coming through. Sometimes it's the opposite for me. If I add some water to my whiskey, I'll get more sweetness. But initially on the nose, I'm getting more oak. Not off-putting again. You cannot really go wrong with an Elijah Craig barrel proof batch, honestly. So it's not to the point where it's off-putting. It's just more oak forward. And if you are a fan of oaked bourbons in general and barrel proofs, it's going to be excellent. Okay. Interesting. So adding the water, I actually got more of a burn on the back of the palate. The sweetness was about the same up front. All the same great notes, the creme brulee, the vanilla ice cream, the toasted almond, the barrel char. You get all that sweetness, the burnt caramel on the front of the palate. But the back of the palate really did give me more of an alcohol burn than keeping it without water. Yeah, same thing. Still got more alcohol burn on the back. But interestingly enough, the alcohol burn is more. But as far as the drying notes, where it's drying out my palate, it's not as prevalent. Really interesting. So I guess depending on what type of bourbon drinker you are and whiskey drinker you are, is going to determine whether or not you want to add water to the A batch for 2019. If you prefer the drying oak notes, go ahead and keep it without water, especially after the bottle opens up a little bit. I think it gives you more of that drying oak on the back of the palate. But the sweetness is consistent with water without, so you're still getting the nice sweet bourbon notes we all love. But with a little bit of water, it actually doesn't dry out my palate as much. It burns more going down, not as much drying barrel. Very interesting. So Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is a $60 bottle of bourbon. For my money, that's ridiculous. What you're getting out of this bottle, the flavors, the nose, the palate, coming in at barrel proof, I mean, it takes you a lot longer way than something lower proof would. 12-year age statement, Heaven Hill, a good brand, good product. This is an immediate pickup for me. Unfortunately, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is not always available to everyone in every market. For me, it's more difficult to find in Michigan where I'm located. I can find it, but it'll trickle in later, and I kind of still have to keep my eye out for it. It's not going to be at my big box chain places. It's going to be more at liquor stores that get some of the allocation. I know other parts of the country can get this without a problem, but in my opinion, this is a probably top two $60 bottle of bourbon. This, the Old Forester 1920, and Stag Junior are probably my three barrel proof. I mean, Old Forester 1920 is not quite barrel proof, but it's high proof. Those are probably the big three for me at that $55 to $60 price range that they're my go-tos. If I see them on the shelf, I'm going to pick them up. So for my money, and if you like barrel proofs, I assume you've had Elijah Craig Barrel Proof already if you are a barrel proof fan like me. But if you haven't, this is definitely a bottle you need to seek out if you can. Bars will have this. So whiskey bars will have this. You can try a pour of this and make sure you like it first, but you're going to like it. I really think you're going to like it. 135, almost 136 proof is a lot, but what you're getting out of this bottle, the value to whiskey ratio is ridiculously good. If you can find this, go pick it up. Thank you so much for watching this review today. If you like these types of videos, please do hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also go ahead and follow me on Instagram and Facebook, Bourbinsane. I appreciate y'all being here today. Stay insane, everyone.